So the last item on the agenda is the 2018 health insurance rates for retirees, and it appears that I got another magical sheet of paper. So if one of you would like to go through this?
I can start, and Candy can chime in anytime she'd like to on this. As
We
you
on the
remember,
side with the blue box or the side without the
the
blue
side
box?
without the blue box
Okay.
first, without the blue box. What we're showing is this would be the information for the retirees, so they can, and to show you where the existing plan was based on the four different, if it's single, employee children, employee spouse, or family. So you can kind of see what they're paying for right now for premiums and what their annual cost is, because the retirees are paying on 100% of the cost of the health insurance premium for this year. Then the two options that we kind of talked about a week ago when we had the plan approved and going with the HRA program, we're just showing the information again to you and to the retirees that had we gone with the 8% increase in the health insurance plan, and I'll focus on the family, the very bottom one, because that's the biggest amount there. What's highlighted in yellow is the amount of the change, and that's kind of the question of who should be paying and what is fair and what the city's contribution might be based on the change from the previous year from 2017 to 2018. So if we had gone with the 8% health insurance premium plan, you can see that the family plan would have increased $134.63 per month, or an annual cost increase would have been $1,615.56. Then, now that because we're going to an HRA plan, which was at a lower cost to the employer for the 2018, for the city, for the 2018 budget, proposed budget, and then also a lower cost to the employees because the premium would be lowered before you do the formula how much their contribution would be. That with the HRA and the health insurance program would have been a $59 increase per month, or $719.88 annual increase cost for the HRA program for the retirees if they had a family plan. So what you see in the far right-hand column is what that monthly savings is because the city is choosing to go to an HRA plan. For family, they'd be saving monthly $74.64 because we're going with the HRA plan and not just going with the basic 8% health insurance increase, or they'd be saving about $900 annually. For the family plan, it's a much lower savings for the employee spouse of roughly about $200 annually, and for single and employee children, it's roughly about between $45 and $46. So that's the amount of the change because we're looking at the HRA plan that we have approved going forward for next year. Then on the back side is what Alderman Benner had mentioned a week ago, is what if, looking at options of what if the city were to pay for or can offer to absorb the cost of the HRA funding, which is we're proposing for the first initial year 35% of the funding of that second tier of the deductible, and then the monthly fee of the $3.25 annual administration monthly cost, what that would look like. So the middle shaded column, or the middle column, it says if city only charged retirees for the health insurance premiums but no HRA fees, you can kind of see what that amount of impact would be because the premiums, since the deductibles are doubling, are going up from $1,500 to $3,000 or from $3,000 to $6,000. The deductible or the premiums are going down roughly about 2%. So you can kind of see the savings highlighted in yellow, what that impact would be. There again, the family plan would be receiving the biggest savings there because of that. But then what the impact that Alderman Benner had asked for is what that cost would be to the city if the city were to contribute the amount of the monthly cost for $47 for a monthly for a single plan, or it would be a fixed $90.75 for the other three plans, what that cost would be. You can kind of see the annual cost for a single be $564, whereas the other three, the annual cost is almost $1,100. And if you go all the way to the right-hand column, the numbers in black are based on, we have said, when I was talking with Candy a week ago, I was estimating roughly about 12 retirees on the plan. We actually have 17 as of the end of this year. There's 17 retiree plans right now on our insurance plan. So the numbers in black would show you what that would do to our budget, or how to afford that. If we had 17 retirees, that would cost the city's $15,888, and we're proposing roughly about 4 retirees added to the plan in 2018, so you'd be up to 21 possibly. That would cost the city almost $20,000 annually if the city were to create a new category of fringe benefit upon leaving employment with the city. So the front side of this showed you what the way that we were proposing this for a program for the retirees, if we went with the HRA plan, what the amount of savings would be. And yes, we would be asking the proposal would be to ask for the cost of the program. For the total cost would be for the premium and the HRA fees and the administration fee. What the amount of savings is to them, because we are not sticking with an 8% insurance premium renewal. And then the backside would be is if the city were to propose on allowing the retirees to receive the benefit of having the HRA paid for at a 35% funding level for next year, and what that cost would be. And we do not have this in the budget right now, but just to let you know that if we were to go this route, the retirees would be receiving the benefit of a 2% lower cost to them for just the premiums if they weren't to pay the HRA fees. But yet we're asking the employees in the program, for the HRA program, that you're asking them, the employees, to contribute from 5% towards the health insurance to 7.5%. So right now, all the active employees are going to be contributing 2.5% more for next year for our health insurance. But then here's the situation that Alderman Benner had just said, okay, let's look at the numbers and then we can discuss it. Should I make mention of that too?
Alderman Taylor.
Probably.
I don't have my notes from the other meeting, but you had said there's for active employees 2%, did you just say, or 2.5% increase?
It's a 2.5% funding, yes, that we would be contributing out of the biweekly paycheck every 2
On top
weeks.
of what percentage are they paying now?
So it'd be 7.5.
Alderman Collier.
I don't want to make fun of this because it's pretty serious stuff. I'm thinking that most employees that retired from the city of Menasha worked here for a long time. They don't get a lot of perks. We've been told that we're one of the lower paid and underpaid, and people leave all the time. Well, these people put in 40, 45 years, 30 for sure. You're looking at 15, 17, 19, 20, 21 employees. It's not like they're going to get this money the rest of their lives. There's a cutoff point. And this is where I get in trouble. And unions used to do something like, we'll take care of ourselves and then we'll take care of you, or you had pension and stuff like this. Now, I don't know how the city works on this, but it would be a goodwill gesture and a good perk to keep people staying here, because if they got a chance to get help on their insurance when they retire, if they go at 58, 59, whatever, it might cost you a few years, might cost you, but I think it's a perk that you should look at and they deserve. And the people, they're going to say, well, I'm paying for them. Well, I paid for people to get out where I worked, and I did it that way. I understand that way. And I don't see why we can't work something out, because they're not, they're not asking for $1 million, and 15,000, 20,000 is a lot of money. But these people did put their careers here. I think they deserve it. I think there's a way we can work this differently or make it fit. And if we have 30 people retire and live for 10 years, retire at 55 or go to 65 or whatever, more power to them. But I think if you work for a long time for a company, you deserve a perk, and this would be a beautiful perk to let people know that we do something that other communities don't do. And that's, I mean, I think that's just the way it should be. Thank you.
Alderman Grotti?
Yeah, I just want to give kudos to Alderman Benner. He's not here tonight, for thinking outside the box here and having us look at a kind of a benefit or something to say, hey, thank you, retirees, and thank you for your time spent here in Menasha. I think it's worth it. I mean, $20,000. I think it's something that is very doable. Thanks.
John?
When I put this together, we had asked a question out there for our Cunningham Butler, who's our insurance broker, on the HRA plan, because we were kind of kicking this around this afternoon, and we did get a phone call through like around 4:30 this afternoon after I put this together. And Candy reminded me, John, make sure we mention this too, and I mentioned it, I know, to Dorothy over there too, that we can create 3 different buckets of employees for the insurance program for 2018 with this HRA program. You can have your group of your pooled employees for all the active employees, where that the employees are paying them the 7.5% towards the health insurance, and that the city will be kicking in the amount for the HRA admin fees and for the HRA funding for 35%. But then our question that we did get an answer from late this afternoon is that the retirees can be split into 2 separate groups themselves. You can have one group that actually has the funding for the HRA paid for in some manner, or there does not have to be an HRA funding for them. However, they will be under the higher deductible, the deductible for them, that so that if they and that can be optional, so that they can choose. They could go ahead and choose the decrease of the 2% in the funding of the health insurance, paying 100% and not paying the additional $47 or $90 a month. They could choose to do that, but just letting them know, then they would be under the city's plan, that they would be at the $3,000 for single or $6,000 deductible plan. So the city would not have to kick that in, and neither would they, but they would be required under the higher deductible amount. So we had that question kicking around, and we did get the answer very late this afternoon from them, but we did get verification from them.
Right button. Alderman Collier?
That sounds suicidal to me for the retiree, because you're telling them, yeah, we're going to not make you pay this, but you know you got a $6,000 deductible. But then next year they got to go through their actuals, and let's say there's 11 of them, 3 of them had heart attacks, you won't even get them to carry you next year. Probably not, because you can't afford it. And all I'm asking is for us to come up with the $20,000 to supplement them, and not to have them have a $6,000. That's like, I don't even have a $6,000. You know, I pay a little bit more money, but $6,000 out of pocket at somebody is devastation. I think we can find, I mean, that insurance company could leave them in the program with everybody, and we can find a way to pay their retirement as a perk or whatever, or set it up. You know, I don't want to say they don't got to pay the $49, but yet if somebody gets hurt, they got to spend the first $6,000. I don't like that idea at all. I think that insurance company can do a better deal, or look doing something different, or we got to talk to them in a different tone of voice, saying, let's find a way to make this work without having them get murdered on a deductible. They can stay with the city like they were gonna, just that we can find a way to fund it. If we have to take the other 200 employees and take 10 cents out every time and put it in a fund, a slush fund, until it grows, until then we supplement it, and eventually we'll have a fund in there to take care of the retirees. That's one way of looking at it.
Did you just say we should charge our current employees more so that the retirees could pay less? So I would not be in favor of that.
You would when you get to be 62, Don.
Okay.
And what's a dime or a nickel? That's nothing. We're not, you're asking them to pay $6,000, not a dime or a nickel. You charge every employee a quarter more. Eventually, you're gonna have enough money to fund it. Until then, we fund it, until we get.
Arnie, do you want to turn your mic on?
You charge them, you find a nominal fee. You start charging them. Everybody's gonna complain. Everybody complains about everything. Well, this is life. They're gonna get the same benefits these people will get when they retire. If you quit and go someplace else, I'm sorry. You put in $40 last year, and you might never get to see a dime of it. But if you start something small, and it might take 6 years to build it up to where it pays for itself, but until then, we should fund this for the retirees don't get beat up.
Alderman Nichols.
Thank you, Mayor. I've thought a lot about this over the last few hours, and for me, it comes down to promises made and promises kept. We have made promises to our employees, our current employees and our past employees, about what to expect when they work for us and when they retire. And in this event, I think we need to make an effort to cover that HRA administrative fee and the 35% for now, because that was a promise made. Health insurance is part of a package that is presented to potential employees and part of an entire compensation package. And that compensation package has an impact on all employees, past, present, and future. It is part of our ability to attract and retain employees. It's also part of what we offer to compensate past employees who have offered years in service to our community. So for now, I think we need to find a way to fund this approximately $20,000. And in my eyes, this is a policy shift that is taking place here regarding health insurance, and it is something that needs to be thoughtfully considered going forward as to the effects that our decisions regarding health insurance will have on employees. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about the dollar in my mind, but it's about how we treat the people that make this community run now, in the past, and in the future. So I think we need to find a way to fund that $20,000 for now, and then over the next year or so have a conversation about what health insurance will look like and how it will impact employees in the future.
Thank you. I think we discussed this over last time, but this was not promised, this HRA to retirees, was it? No? This was not promised to retirees, was it? This HRA?
What do you mean by promise?
We discussed it a little bit last time. You were saying about the reason why you kept the retirees out of this fund for that specific amount, depending on the family size, but that aspect was not promised to the retirees?
The only promise, where federal law requires us under COBRA that we are required to provide, once they leave employment, 18 months of insurance coverage. Beyond that, we're not required to have to provide anything beyond that. There are a lot of municipalities, I come from a municipality where the
18 months. 18 months at the previous employee's cost, not the city's cost. Pam just whispered in my ear, and I wanted to make sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead now.
So, but we're not required beyond that to extend the benefit beyond that time. So what you have chosen here as past practice is to allow the employees to carry the insurance beyond the 18-month period of time, and your retirees, thank you. And then this actually does create a future liability to the city on your financial statement audit. That it's considered an OPEB and other post-health employment benefit. So we actually are recording a liability on our books, not in the general fund, but in overarching over the organization, so it creates another liability. And as the potential is here for adding additional employees or retirees on to that liability, and that could continue to grow, it would show that the net worth of the city would continue to look a little less than maybe if we didn't offer a program. I come from a community that didn't offer this beyond 18 months. And I know others don't in the state, but there are some that do, some that don't. I don't know in the metro area here what normal practice is.
So,
But
on a
the-
financial aspect, you wouldn't recommend this?
what I'm trying to do is trying to save the amount on the budget for the overall cost to the taxpayers. And I understand of where, what has been past practice here for the employees, and for the retirees, but I'm trying to do what's the best cost for the taxpayers at the lowest amount of cost, and working with the departments and with the mayor under a presented budget that's as lean as we possibly can make it, based on what we're required to do, both by our state statutes and by
Yes.
your local ordinances.
And by us looking at the state as a whole, this is basically, we're already going above and beyond at this point, going past that 18-month and comparable to other municipalities. So we're quite in line.
I don't have the statistics.
Yeah, I know that, but
on
like-
that, but I mean, there are a number of municipalities that do offer a benefit. There are a number of, especially at school districts. School districts, this is very prevalent. At the municipality level, since maybe Act 10, I think this is probably more going away, that these kind of benefits are not offered beyond the COBRA period of time.
Well,
But I don't have statistics to back that up.
Yeah, thank you.
Alderman Severnick.
I just also want to follow up on that comment that this was something that we promised. This is not something we promised. And I want to make that clear to the public. What we did promise, though, was that we would allow employees to stay on our insurance plan. And that's all we promised. So I want that to be very clear.
Alderman Collier.
I understand what Stan said, and I agree that they should stay on, but I'm just saying that it will benefit city employees in the long run if we find a way to generate a slush fund, and for now, pick up this premium for the retirees. It would we would do something that probably nobody's got in the valley that's in this type of business, city business. I'm just saying, I'm pretty humane. It's $15,000. That would be like maybe 2% of the policeman's budget at the most, maybe 0.02%, my mistake. I could take it out of their gas money over a period of 10 years and get it paid at $2,000 a year. But I'm thinking that it's a good gesture, it's a good perk, and the people, you're not talking, like where I worked, I had at one time 1,100 employees, and I always had at least 175 retirees. That's a little different. You're never going to have over 30. I mean, unless these people are going to live to 100 years old, I don't see that happening. But I think it's a good deal for the city. It makes us look good. We spend money. Just make it happen for them.
Alderman Nichols.
Thank you. to clear up something that I said, the promise made in my mind was that retirees had the option of staying on the city's health insurance if they paid 100% of the premium. That was the promise made. Under this proposal, past employees, retirees, will continue to pay 100% of their premium and are asked to contribute a cost, an amount, in addition to that 100% of their premium. That's what I'm calling into question right now. Having said that, in the future, when we are asked to evaluate health insurance options, it's my hope that we can be presented those options earlier. Looking back on this process, I wish that we could have had a bit more time to digest the information that was presented and have some dialogue about how it not only affected the city's bottom line for the budget, but also the impact to all employees and people who use our health insurance. So in the future, I would like to have those options presented earlier in the process so that they're not so incredibly intricately tied to the budget process that we don't take advantage of an opportunity to think beyond just the dollars.
Alderman Sevenick?
Again, back to the point I made that the reason we give retirees this option to stay on our plan is that it's one of the best type of plans there possibly is out there. And these costs that I see here, I don't pay anything near that. So what we are already doing is giving them a great benefit to begin with. One, I guess, though, that they had and were used to. I mean, the other option is go look out on the market for something else. I mean, that's another option. I mean, I want to do these things too, but I'm just saying, don't make my job hard by telling me that we're doing something wrong with our employees, because we're not. We're doing a very good thing for our employees and our retirees. We're giving them one of the best insurance programs that's possibly available out there, and I'm proud of that. But there are other options too.
So what we would need this evening is something regarding what we would like the program for retirees to be. I'm not sure if this, as we've been talking, I'm not sure if this is actually a COBRA or if this is different. If we choose X for retirees, are we choosing the same for COBRA, or are they two different groups? Okay, they're two separate groups. Okay, that's good. So we would need a motion to do something at this point. Alderman Taylor?
Mr. Mayor, I would like to talk to the director yet on this issue, and on Monday we can come up with something, and Alderman Benner was involved with it, so I would like to wait till Monday on this I'd like to talk to John.
Is that the desire of the council? After we made these 2 or 3 outstanding people wait all night? Alderman Sevenick?
Thank you. I just want to ask staff, I know that this was placed on the agenda this evening so that you knew which direction we were going in. If we wait till Monday, is that going to be an issue for publishing or for putting the budget, final numbers together?
We have already published the budget, so anything that you would make for motions on Monday night, including on any other items in the CIP budget or any of the other funds, definitely could all be done on Monday night,
Okay.
along with a recommendation here. But if you were choosing to have the city to be funding something towards this, that motion would need to be made on Monday so that it's encapsulated in the adopted budget spending level for 2018. And then also, if it's going to affect the tax levy, we would need to know the funding source for that. So we would need to know, we can't wait beyond Monday, let's put it that way.
Right, and that's just something I want to emphasize also, is that I've heard a couple people that are extremely in favor of doing this, but you better show me your funding source. And also tonight, we've added to this budget, and I've heard a couple aldermen say, I can find this somewhere else in the budget. Well, Monday is around the corner, and I hope you sharpened your pencils and are going to come in with those funds that you feel you can change in this budget, because we'll be here a very long time.
Alderman Nichols?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm on the side of the page with the blue box on it. Is that $15,888 what would be necessary to fund the retirees portion of the HRA for 2018?
If we have no further employees that retire in 2018, that would be the number that we.
Broadcasts of the City of Menasha Administration Committee, Board of Public Works, and Common Council meetings are produced by University Studios of the University of Wisconsin-Fox Valley. Menasha residents and interested parties can obtain information about these meetings and meeting agendas from the city website, www.cityofmenasha-wi.gov. Expression of opinions regarding City of Menasha issues or about these broadcasts can be made by contacting the Mayor's Office, 920-967-5117. Contacting their city alderman. Contact information appears on the website. Completing the electronic feedback form on the website. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited for playback.